Hey Wanda, happy Sunday, happy November 17th. Wow, I can't believe, or 16th, Lord, I'm jumping ahead. But hey, girl, hey, I know we both been busy. It's been crazy the last couple of months, but how you be, girl? This the last quarter of the year.
Yes, the last quarter of the year. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. And we gonna jump right into it because 'tis the season, and here we go again. And we've been getting a whole bunch of questions and things about the holidays and what the rules are, especially when it comes down to new dishes, who you should bring, who you should leave at home, you know, should we talk about religion, politics, things of that nature? But we're going to dive right into it. So, Wanda, I'm going to ask you now, when it comes down to the holidays, and I know you like to get in the kitchen and flick your wrist and you got some things going on. Is this the time that you want to try a new dish on your family because you seen it on Insta or Tik or the book or something like that, and you was like, "Dang, that look good. Let me see if I want to try this new dish that you never made before, but you want to try so you can pass it on to your family." What say you?
Holidays is never a good time to try out any new dishes, so I wouldn't recommend that for anybody. And this is, a new show for a new season, and in this new season, we want to encourage people. Not a good idea to try things new during the holidays.
I agree. I think whatever you are good at and whatever you've made in the years past, use that. Bring that dish to the forefront. Your family used to that dish, your friends used to that dish. Now, if you want to get experimental in the kitchen and you feel like you want to try something new, this is not the time to do that. Do it come January 1st, perfect it. Taste it yourself, have a small gathering, call it a tasting, whatever, after the holiday sensation, whatever you want to name it, call it, then that's what you do. But I think right now, let's leave the seasoned, home chefs in the kitchen for the Thanksgiving and for the Christmas and even going into the new year. But if you have tried, I will say this, if you have tried a dish and you've made it a few times that everybody says that it's good and you may want to spring that on your family, that may be okay because you've perfected or had some time to perfect it. I think that's good when you do that particular thing, but not just off the cuff because you know your family, you know how they are, they're gonna be talking about you, so don't give them no ammunition if you can help it. So now when it comes down to your person that you've been talking to and y'all only been talking to each other for a couple weeks, maybe a month, and now you're on a holiday, do you really want to bring that person around your family and your friends during this time, especially if you know your family is uber, critical and very judgmental of people. And you know how your drunk uncles and your high TTs get in the back, and they're gonna bring the noise and the business. Do you really want to bring somebody new, to the forefront along with your new dish? I think it's too many new things happening at one time. Wanda, what you say about bringing a new person to your holiday soiree?
Well, no, you probably shouldn't bring a new person, to a new holiday party because it's new and it's not the best time. People might be drinking and say things they shouldn't say. So I don't think you want to embarrass yourself or your new friend. So it's probably not a good idea to might as well wait till after the holidays to introduce them to new people.
Right. So we don't suggest no rent, no dates. Don't bring no new dates. Don't bring no new dishes. Let's just skate it. Now, if y'all wanna do something a little more intimate and y'all wanna do something for each other, you can always prepare a small meal and y'all can kick it before y'all go to your respective or prospective families and y'all do what y'all need to do. And then once, they've been around for a little while, maybe next year, 2026, if they are still around, that might be a good time to do all of that stuff. And as far as like, and if you're meeting somebody for the first time right around this time, it's like a cutoff period for gifts. You can maybe do a small token of your appreciation or just a gesture to say, hey, it's nice meeting you, whatever, gift cards, things like that. But anything over the top, grandiose, or whatever the case may be, that's got, you know, several numbers before the decimal and it possibly a comma after the first number. Yeah, we don't want to do that. So, you know, be wise, especially in this economy right now. I mean, they're already talking about boycott, and we're gonna get a little bit into that too. But right now, don't spend your hard-earned coins. You know, it's tight out here for a little bit of everybody. So, and if somebody's just new and you're just meeting them, you know, a nice little cup of coffee or a nice, you know, $10, $15 gas card. Hey, who don't want gas in a, you know, tank that they ain't have to pay for? You know, we want to keep things really, really simple, because then that you can kind of see the characteristics of the individual, because if they go all off cop because they feel like they ain't got no gift, this go for y'all fellas too. If she rolling her neck and flicking her hands and all of this and click, 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 then she might not be the one for you. He might not be the one for you. So, you know, pay attention to these little red flags that we have been to bury around the holiday season. So we want to be, make sure that we're conscious and cognizant of all of these things going on. And by all means, please, please, please don't, let's not bring politics to the dinner table this holiday season. We've been over inundated since the elections, everything that every time you look on social media, turn on television, whatever the case may be, we are already overly stimulated, overly saturated with everything political. Take this time out to get to love on your family, you know, make new memories, talk about some traditions, you know, let's lean into our ancestors, maybe those who aren't here anymore. You know, I have a lot of great grandma stories around the holiday times that I usually like to share, because I understand that we all have different memories of loved ones passed. So I think it's always a great time around the holiday time, especially when we're all in the kitchen together to share those. Wanda, what do you say?
Oh, I mean, I agree, but I think politics will come during the holidays. It's just, the way things are. I'd be surprised if it didn't. So I think you can still discuss it, but just, try not to have any big blowout arguments. So kind of feel the room and see what it's like. You know, if you have some people who will support one side and somebody else support another side, you think it might be a big blow up, then it might not be a good idea. I think I think you gotta feel a room out. But I don't think it's a bad topic to talk about during the holidays. I know it's a lot going on. But we just gotta, I advise everybody to stay abreast of what's going on in politics. You don't inundate yourself with it. Make sure you know what's going on. That's important right now.
Absolutely. It's good to know what's going on and staying in the know. But I think the one thing that I did take away, if it's going to cause like a powder keg of emotions, then I would say veer to your left. Don't, let's not talk about it. And the same goes for if you have holiday situations or surrounding your employment, your work. Holiday parties are coming up. A lot of people are getting ready and prompt and pump if they're still doing it, you know, because of the state that the economy is in. A lot of companies may forego. They might give you a smaller bonus when it comes down to having a, you know, all out holiday bash, because it is, you know, quite expensive. But even when it comes down to that, and they tell you that anyway, when it comes down to your workplace, it's like two things that you really don't want to talk about. That's religion and politics, you know, to keep everybody on an even temperature. We want to take that into consideration. So I just think that that's something that you want to keep in mind as we go into the season. And if for whatever reason your job has a potluck and they ask people to bring a dish, you know, it should be somebody in the room somewhere that says, you know, maybe we should get this catered. I know somebody who will do it at a reasonable price. We can have, you know, a decent amount of food, you know, that's still tasty, aesthetically pleasing, things of that nature. Because the same rule applies. If you ain't never made it before this time, don't make it and bring it to your coworkers. Because you know, some of the biggest critics are those ones who sit around the table at work at the work potluck. What you say about the work potluck and the holiday parties for which HR?
Just to be careful at the work parties because HR is still there, so you don't want to go to a party and be drunk and say things that you would not normally say at work because they could be held against you. So just be careful. Don't volunteer to cook. No Don't bring people who you think might get drunk at the party and act out, because that might not be a cool thing on your behalf. You might find yourself without a job. So, I just wanna know from you, Sheila, what are the top 5 rules you have for the holidays for, when just for family rules that you should have for during the holidays? What are your top 5?
I think that you don't get drunk at your family, even though you with your family, but you don't because you might say something that was supposed to be kept in secret. So drink in moderation, right? In order to keep the peace. Don't re-gift no gift from 2, 3 Christmases ago or whatever the case may be, and thinking that that person who is in the room might not recognize that. So let's not do that. Let's not do no re-gifting. Again, don't rent no date, don't bring no date, especially if they new. Now, if it's somebody that's been around your family and friends and they used to y'all that I heard names or seen faces and things like that, that's cool. But do that. Fix your children's plates. Hello, do that. Especially if you have young children under 10 and you know how messy that they can be, and they gonna get all the macaroni and cheese. They don't want none of that other stuff for real. So fix your children's plates. Don't let your kids put their hands on the little utensils, things they're gonna serve, and all these other things. And number 5, most importantly, whatever grace you saying, whatever prayer you saying over your meal, please keep that thing to a minimum, honey, because the food is hot and people are hungry. They don't wait all year for this time right here. So I think those are 5 good things to keep in mind around this holiday season. So your follow laws and your tears will be everything you need it to be.
And you got any final advice for people with, work holiday parties coming up? What are some tips, like, I guess, 3 tips you would have people take away from this show today?
Well, for your work, I'm gonna piggyback on what you said. Remember that this is a work event. Even though you are going in the evening time and you're whatever the theme is, whatever semi-formal, formal, casual, whatever, don't overdo it. Cause just because the drinks are free, that don't mean they don't go overboard. So please keep that in mind. If the food is not to your liking, keep that to yourself as well. Remember, you didn't spend no money for the work holiday party. You could have really just kept your ass at home if you was gonna be extra critical. Just don't do none of that stuff. Be mindful. Again, like Wanda pointed out, don't bring nobody with you. If you have a +1, +2, and you know who your friend circles are, honey, you know who you can or who you cannot bring to certain places because of professionalism or the lack thereof. Be mindful of who you choose. Don't bring your auntie that be wilding out at every chance she get, or your uncle who know he can't. All he heard was an open bar, and after that, you don't see him after you make introductions. So just be mindful. And if you have any workplace beef with somebody, the holiday party is not that time to air out y'all differences. I'm gonna need you to pick another time. But those are the few little things that I would say that I will go into when it comes down to the holiday party and the workplace.
Yeah, I think those are all good advice for the holidays, and the holidays can be a fun time, so don't make it a bad time. Keep it fun, keep it light, and I think everybody will be happy after the holidays, and don't spend all your money during the holidays that you may not have.
That's I 100% agree. Be mindful. I think a lot of us are pinching our pennies at this particular juncture. We are making sure that we are watching how things are going because we realize that after 40 some odd days, the government just reopened. So it's a lot of people that are now starting to play catch up. And one thing I did not know about this government shutdown, especially for the people that are in the military and things of that nature, who have, like accounts with credit unions and things like that, the credit union gave like those who needed, I guess, small bridge loans to help them kind of get, their major bills paid or whatever the case might be. And that it was exactly that. They were loans because now they're asking, hey, now that y'all going back to work, We need our money back. We need you to run those. So just be mindful that even you may want to gift your children and whoever you love the world, but don't stress yourself out, doing it. Every day that you have the chance to do something nice, do something kind. Every day is a present, right? So you can always gift somebody something. It doesn't have to be narrowed down to one time a year, but I think this is a great time for you to have discussions with your children about financial literacy and what that looks like when it comes down to situations like this. Because this is not the first government shutdown, and if things keep going the way they're going, this may not be the last. But right now, we're just now getting out of this, so we still have to see the direction it's going to go in. The SNAP benefits for a lot of people have just been turned on again, but there's still a lot of charities and churches and other organizations that are still gathering up food and things like that, and coats and mittens for those of us who live in colder climates. So, find maybe do something different, teach your children something different, even maybe learn something different yourself. Maybe this is the season that you actually serve and do something nice for your community and get to know who's in your community. So when it does become election time on a local level, you can see who's who and what's what. I think that's important because especially when we get into politics, we always look at the big race. We need to start looking at the races on the local level and see if the person aligns with who you are and some of your belief systems and see if they are the right individuals who will represent you well when they go further in politics. What you got to say about the shutdown?
I don't know, just the shutdown, glad it's over, and I'm sure we'll see what happens in January, and hopefully there's not another shutdown. And that leads us to talking about in the news. We always have a segment when we talk about what's in the news, and it's a lot been going on in the news. And one of the things I want to talk about, the shutdown, and we know that's over for right now. We'll see what happens and what could come from that. But there's a couple of good books out. One book is out called Gucci Mane's book called Episodes, and it's about him being diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar. And I would encourage you to go read it because he did an episode in the Breakfast Club and he talked about his diagnosis, and it was a really great episode. And so it's something that we don't often talk about but need to talk about. So go out and buy the book, and know that he's a changed person. He's the same person. He just changed his life, and he's a healthier Gucci Mane.
I 100% agree. I got a chance to look at some of that interview with the Breakfast Club. I think Charlemagne and DJ Envy and Lauren, as long as with just with the mess, they all did a good job in listening and to understand. I know that they've gotten a lot of flack when people trying to say that, Keisha Kaur has changed who he is. And, but that's about growth, right? When you grow and you're not going to be the same person, he ain't crashing out. So y'all not happy. And that's sad to me because he's showing maturity on his part. He wants to do better. He wants to get better. You have to remember, this is not just, the artist. He is now a father. He is a husband. He's a business person. More importantly, he's a human being. And I think that's what we have to really start leaning into. Quit putting these individuals on such a high pedestal that if something happens, when it happens, and they fall down, everybody wants to laugh and point and all the things, and everybody always has their 2 cents to put in. I think it takes a brave person to shout out anything that's wrong because we are so recluse when it comes down to stuff like that. When mental health is real and getting the help is real, especially in the Black and brown communities, we are now starting to champion ourselves when it comes down to getting the help that we need so we can be better for it later. So yeah, go read the book. If you don't want the paper novel, I'm pretty sure it's on Audible or wherever you download your ebooks or your listening books on. Go do it. Definitely support him because I think it's important. And shout out to Keisha Kaur for just standing by her man and not just seeing him for the artist, but seeing him as a person and making sure that he feels supported and balanced in his household. So definitely um, go shout that out or go read it. And then shout out to Cardi B, who just gave birth a little bit ago to her son. So now she has two and two. She has two daughters and two sons. Um, and she looks pretty daggone good for a woman who just gave birth for sure.
Yeah, Cardi B just had her baby, and, I just asked and hope that Offset stand down. Leave her alone, let her move on. It's sad that she put up with a lot when she was married, and now she just wants to walk away, so I hope he just let her walk away.
Well, they are tied to each other for the rest of their lives because they do have three beautiful children together. And they just need to find a way to co-parent, and be cool with that. And a lot of times, unfortunately, when people see somebody that they used to be with who has moved on, and that's a dagger, especially because I think his name is what, Steven Stefan Diggs. He's successful in his own right. He's a football player. He's a DC native. Offset don't want that smoke, okay? So just go on and move on. Let them be happy. I'm pretty sure you done some things. We don't know all the ifs, ands, buts, or ors, but I believe you keep pushing these buttons and this narrative, things are gonna come out that you may not want to come out. So I think y'all need to be able to just co-parent. Make sure that your children see what a healthy dynamic could look like, even if mommy and daddy are no longer together. Well, they still have two parents, plus whomever y'all decide to deal with that love them. Surround your children with love. Show them how the adults do things without being petty, and quit taking the social media to air out your grievances. Like, this is not, stop letting the court of public opinion dictate on how you move left or right. But we all just got to do better when it comes down to, our personal lives, our professional lives, and all the things. We just got to just be on top of it, period. So definitely, once again, shout out to Cardi B for having a healthy, beautiful baby boy. And I hope that your family continues to grow and you do what you need to do for your children as well as yourself. Is there anything that we need to tap into and wrap up? Because I know that season 6, episode 1, we just wanted to come out and give y'all a little rapid fire and say what it is we needed to say. And as we prepare for episode 2 of season 6 for December.
I guess we still have to, just wanna mention Epstein files are still out there, they still have not been released. They released some emails that are really interesting emails, but the files have still not been released, and hopefully, we'll see what happens. The saga continues.
Yes, it does continue. So we will see what happens. It's been a whole lot of chatter going on. And I just think this goes to the old adage, what's done in the dark eventually comes to the light. So just because you got the lights on and them blackout curtains, honey, eventually all of that got to come on and them curtains got to open. So it's gonna continue to rain down and we're gonna see how this whole thing plays out. Anything else from you, ma'am?
No, just wanna hear a word from the wise, from Sheila Nu before we end.
All right. Well, fa la 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 la. What? It is the holiday time, and there is a lot going on. And I know people get caught up with family and friends, but this, on a serious note, is like some of the saddest times that a lot of people live through. So if you don't take anything else, because I know Candace, myself, and Wanda all champion mental health. Please get the help that you need. There's so many resources out there. Make sure that you are utilizing them. If you can't always find it in your heart to talk to your family and your friends because you feel like they don't know what you're going to, or maybe they don't really understand, do what you need to do for you to protect your mental health. That's important more than anything else that's going on, the stars, the politics, the Epstein files, whatever the case may be. We poke fun at a lot of stuff, but one thing we don't play about is your mental health. We want to make sure that everybody is doing what they can, especially around this time of year, because again, I get it. It gets heavy, but find the joy in it, find laughter wherever you go because it's out there. So you just have to look at it from a different set of lenses. Surround yourself with people who are gonna love on you and don't have no other kind of expectations from you. They hand ain't out. Talking about what you gonna give me this year. Listen, if you got them kind of people in your circle, get rid of their asses. Okay? Because that's part of taking care of your mental health too. So make sure that you're doing all of those things for you and make sure you keep on tapping in and tuning in. We appreciate y'all so much. If I don't have enough words to say thank you, and if I could say thank you in a whole bunch of different languages, I would. We are so appreciative. We thank y'all for tuning in, tapping in, and riding with us. You know, it'll be 3 years next year. Who would have even thought that this would be going on? But y'all keep your ear to the ground. We got a whole lot of stuff coming up, and we want y'all to be a part of it. So stay tapped in, stay tuned in, and no matter what, have a happy and healthy and fun Thanksgiving holiday season, and we will see y'all before the Christmas and this. Yes, definitely tap into the website. Click that link, holla at us. You know, it's a whole bunch of stuff we got going on, and that's one way to stay
And check
connected.
out the merchandise
Once
too.
Yes, if y'all buying stuff, get that. We got blankets, we got hoodies. Matter of fact, I got a couple of hoodies. They are nice, they are warm, and they are their own little fashion statements, as long as with their t-shirt, which I actually happen to be having on too. So definitely click that link, look at the store, go back and listen to some past episodes. If you feeling down, baby, kick it off with season one, episode one. That's how we started there, you know, because a lot of people say, how did we get here? Go back to listen to season one, episode one, and you'll see 100% how we got here. But again, take care of yourself, your mental, your physical, your emotional, your spiritual, your financial health. Take care of it all. And shop small businesses, support small businesses. I know they hollering about a boycott, but they ain't boycotting those small businesses. And we are one of those. So make sure y'all click again the link, buy some merchandise, holler at us, and we'll see y'all on the other side. And we'll see you when we see you. Peace.